Team, it is true, and I'm gonna let you know later on down the road in this video what that thing was. But for now, I want to try to break up last week's Q&A into a couple different segments. Very first thing is, if you want to become a member of the channel, what you need to do is just click the join button. If you can't see that, it's probably because you're on a mobile device and it's probably an iPhone. So jump over to the desktop and you should be able to do it from there. What you're going to get is exclusive access to content, and you're going to help me make the channel better, right? That's what this thing is all about, is continuing to grow an authentic community that loves being outdoors, mastering our craft, and developing our tactical virtue. The other real quick tidbit I want to remind you of is this stinking weekend on the 5th is the Grunt Proof Survival premiere. So let's look at a short preview of that.
That's your boundary. Step over and gain strong.
Good to go. Oh yeah. Gotta get away from the X. It's ground spore. I know he's moving to the northeast. Right to me. Scout, this is Hunter. I have eyes on. Man, that's pretty stinking awesome, right? So I hope that you join us on that. I'm going to be on there watching this thing with everybody else and joining in the conversation and the dialogue. It's a great series, a great event, and I look forward to seeing you there. So while we are on this discussion of dadgum Q&A, I'm going to pull up all these questions that I didn't answer, and we'll try to get through these as efficiently as possible. I'm going to try to get to everybody, make this as quick as I can. The response to that video was absolutely phenomenal, and I appreciate all you guys. So Daryl, pups love the woods as long as they're with you, man. You know, that's so true. And you know what, man? You've been here since dadgum near the beginning of when I got this thing going back hot again, and I certainly appreciate you, brother. Amos, you love rigs, man, and great channel. Thank you so much, brother. Mike C, man, you've been here for a while too. Trying to eat like kings, you know what I'm saying? You got to have fun. You got to enjoy your time when you're outdoors. P-Rob, man, that's another one, man. You've been here for a hot minute. And man, I appreciate your support, brother. And that skull mug, there's actually a story behind that. Maybe another video. Chuck B, absolutely, brother. Robert Digby, the kind of E&E kit that I have and I use is going to be in a future video that I'm super stoked about. So stay tuned. Sand socks, let's see. Yes, sir. Oh, absolutely, man. Man, that's good stuff. Alternative to MREs. Like you, I think that we can use some simple things like you're talking about when it comes to rice and some egg noodles and stuff. I'm not a huge fan of spending $15, $20 a meal on high fancy dancy stuff that like REI likes to sell us and shit. Mike B, my favorite pocket knife is actually a knife that my dad gave me, and one day I'll give it to my son. It's just a small camless, older than I am, old as dirt. Hold on. That's it right there. I mean, it ain't nothing special, you know what I'm saying? But it's a knife he gave me, so it's special to me. Hammerhound, man, hey brother. Yeah, man, I feel you. 100%, man. That's why I love doing what I'm doing here. Patriot 59er. Yeah, no, I appreciate that. You know, and it can go south pretty quick. I try to be kind of the middle of the road kind of dude, if that makes sense. But I appreciate it. I don't mind, like, I'm not hiding, you know. If somebody wants to know something, I can chit chat about stuff. Small group tactics, yes sir. Overlanding, yeah, you know. I'd love to do that some more. MT Woods Runner, man, I appreciate that, brother. Speaking of some maneuvers and evasion techniques, stay tuned. We're going to be doing some stealth navigation, some stealth camping coming up. It's going to be awesome stuff. Chris Hall. Ooh, what just happened there? Chris Hall. The kind of IFAC that I carry. Again, that's going to be another video. It's just a small package that I put together. I have two. One that's more for boo-boos and owies, right? And then the other one is a little bit more trauma-based. We'll go into both. Brad Maynard, service and deployments. So favorite, I've deployed a few times. Favorite times of my career would have to be when I was in the 1st Fleet Anti-Terrorism Security Team Company back when I was in the Corps, and had an awesome deployment with them. And then my time as a platoon sergeant and deploying as a platoon sergeant, and my time as a first sergeant, absolutely phenomenal. Am I retiring? Yes, sir. It's just a matter of when. So we're kind of waiting for our youngest to graduate. She's a junior now, and we'll figure out what we're going to do when we grow up. Ricky, and and I'll talk more about career and stuff. Talk some more story later on, brother. Ricky Beetle, definitely, man. I'm working on a video on some different tarp styled events, and you can certainly look through my channel by searching it for tarps and things of this nature, tarp tents, and go from there. But I'm working on an idea in order to bring quite a few styles into play, and look forward to getting this out soon. Maurice, you got one knife to pick. It's going to be my SE4. I've had that thing since I deployed as a platoon sergeant 5 or 6 years ago, whenever it was. And that thing's been on my side. Like, is it my absolute favorite, most go-to, awesome, kick-ass knife? Probably not, but it's the one that I have, so it's the one that I use. Maurice, am I on Patreon? I was. It's still kind of there, but the YouTube membership is the thing to do, because that's going to get you plugged into content. It's going to get you plugged into benefits and services and things of this nature. Like if you look in an old video, it's probably going to have a link to a Patreon account, but there wasn't a whole lot of response because people didn't like to go out and then come back, if that makes sense. Mark the Shark. Dude, a 3-day hike camp, man. I'm looking forward to an overnight hike camp next. But I would love to do a 3-day. And I agree with you. It'd be a lot more time to cover a lot of different events and topics and things of this nature. If I could get a cameraman, that would be stinking awesome. I would love to have a cameraman, but I am the cameraman. Appreciate you, brother. Crazy Knock 55. Underground shelters, I have not. That would be interesting. John Bergen. Yeah, no kidding, brother. Dude, Amazon Kitchen, I discovered them a few weeks ago. Amazing. That stuff is awesome. Mr. Joshua, thank you, brother. I appreciate that. I do. Andrew Colt. So military hand signals, applications of meaning. Yeah, I had a request a couple years ago about doing some video on hand and arm signals. I suppose I could. It's just kind of weird doing it by yourself, right? Because you don't have anybody to pass it down onto, if that makes sense. But I'll see what I can put together. American Patriot, 1978. If SHTF, worst case, grids down. Let's see. What's a good alternative for purchasing anything or bartering? So, truth be told, I think the best thing that you have to barter is your skills, right? It's your networking ability. It's what can you provide somebody else around you in your community. Does that make sense? Like, we can garden, and that's cool, and we can have things that we can physically trade, but what kind of skill set do you have to bring to the table that's going to be of benefit to somebody else? Whether it's a trade, right? We're talking about plumbing, carpentry, gardening, electric, HVAC. I mean, just the whole spectrum of trades. We see it in the education system where that's taking a dump, but to our left and our right, like our neighbors don't know how to do this stuff. That's why they hire handymen to come in. So if you know how to do things with your hands, it's going to put you in a position to be able to trade for some different stuff. I hope that makes sense. Battery's getting ready to die. I'm going to change this. All right, here we go. Ed, hey man, that's and I'm going to say off exactly what you talked about. Talking about using a protein powder, you know, with your hot water and mix it in with the chocolate instead of some chocolate protein powder. I think that's a great idea, and I think whey is actually a really good staple to have because it does give you a lot of protein pack punch, if you will, in a small package. So that's pretty awesome. 14 DFA Sniper, man, I appreciate you, brother, and thank you for your service, I'm sure. Carl Brumbelow, how do I keep my food cold in the summertime? I eat it in my belly. That's how I keep it cool. So I will put the beverages in the drink, right? And then if I'm car camping or something, I'm going to use a cooler like anybody else does. If I'm doing some exploring through the backcountry, then I'm not taking food that needs to be cold. Survive anything. I'd like to see how you survive when the balloon goes up. Yeah, me too, man. Interesting note, when the balloon goes up is an old phrase, obviously, right? And that balloon going up was actually a defensive mechanism because it had a wire attached to it, which would hope, in theory, which the idea was to keep, you know, the idea if planes were going to fly into it, that wire would tear the planes apart. Rich the Fixer, man, I appreciate you, brother. Let's see. I'm going to save yours for last. I'm going to come back to you, Rich. Jeff Richards, billion versions of Alice Pack's 2-3 day trip again. I appreciate that. Definitely looking forward to adding that into the queue, if you will. Man, I know it's tough. It's tough for me to get out. And I'm gonna say this again to another poster who had something similar. But if you can just find a spot and enjoy it, like you don't have to go dadgum 15-20 miles, you know what I'm saying? Like, just find a nice secluded spot and you'd be good to go. John Klein, man, my field desk, I do love it. Shasta, he did not try the Brussels sprouts. I didn't even think about giving him, you know, he's weird. Like, he loves ice and all kinds of other crap. Daniel, man, I appreciate that, brother. You know, training rigs is extremely valuable, and I'm working on some different stuff with them. And pretty soon, I think I'm going to teach him to learn how to track. But he just enjoys it. He loves working. You know, does that make sense? Like, he loves feeling like what he does is appreciated, and I love that about him. Wigs, how do I find spots where people don't interrupt me? So obviously in this spot where I was at doing the Q&A, actually ended up really close to a trailhead, but I do try to do some different recons of areas. I know in this spot nobody's going to bug me, and I don't know if the highway traffic is coming through, but I am kind of super close to the freeway, but nobody comes out here and enjoys this beautiful little lake. And there's a couple other ones, and there's a couple other spots where I know that I can go to that I'm gonna have slim to nil chance of anybody coming around me. And again, you don't need to, how you do that is you go where people don't go. So where do people love to go? They love to go on trails and to hiking and car camping, things of this nature, right? So if I can avoid those areas, like up here, that really means the national park, right? People love to go to national parks. People don't often, most people don't spend time in the national forests, and so that's where I love to spend my time. What the downside of that is, you may not get the crazy, beautiful, scenic views, but you don't get people. Guillermo, could the U.S. engage China and Russia at the same time? I mean, we've done a two-front war in the past, but man, can I get my DD-214 first? Come on. Synth Gunner, appreciate that, brother. Can I dumb it down, break it down shotgun style even more? Yeah, you know, I'm always going to have more navigation related videos. Some may not be shotgun style and others will be, but I can promise you I'm working on some content for that specifically. Kevin, current thoughts on Russia. That's a long answer, I think. Ultimately, I think that we need to figure out as a community, right? We need to figure out as a people, as a nation, what our priorities are, and we need to act on those priorities and stop letting all of the shit get in the way of working towards what our priorities are. Well, I certainly feel for and want to help everybody else. Man, there's a lot of folks here that I need, in my opinion, need more time and more attention being spent with. Mario, the sidearm that I prefer is the one that I have. And I've gone through quite a few. I only have one right now. It's and it's just a cheap Smith & Wesson M&P 45. If the sky was the limit and I had cash to drop, I'd probably buy a Kimber. But it would probably definitely still be a 45. Like, I appreciate, you know, and I take that back. You know, I may buy a good revolver too. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's something there. And I don't care if we go back and buy a cowboy gun, if we buy a more modern revolver, but you got to have one. Dennis, I'm glad you did too, brother. Big hairy people in the forest. Well, I've come across plenty of bears out here in the woods, and then when I was on the peninsula side in the national forest, this was BR before Riggs, had some kind of a weird encounter. Maybe I should go back. If you think I should go back, let me know. Brandy Houston, that's right. Riggs would be an awesome present for anybody, I agree. Tango. Man, I appreciate that. And you know, to be honest with you, I give a lot of hope in the future based off of you and everybody else who has joined in this amazing conversation, to be honest with you. Man, Tremontaine, I hope I didn't totally jack that up. I don't know if people could afford that. But it would be a good axe sheath. If I ever don't need mine, maybe I'll think about tearing it up. Carl, yeah, you know, it's not. I'll maybe that'll be a contest. What's in my skull, right? If somebody can figure that out, then maybe I'll get something for somebody. Eric L. You know, so here we are. I knew it was coming up. So I will try to figure out how to work this into a video, but you should get out. And again, you know, that's kind of the beauty of bushcraft, is that you don't have to go put 10 miles, 20 miles, 30 miles, big crazy overnighters to enjoy the outdoors. You can find a small cubby just like this and come out and enjoy yourself, enjoy the outdoors. You know, if I walk 30 feet in front of me and I'm into the woods, there's something new with every step, something that's bypassed when people are walking down the road or driving down the road. So much to see. So I appreciate that. Ultra Trail. Yeah, he sure wanted to, but bad. All right, that's it. So we're gonna come back down to Rich. So this is gonna be the final question, final answer. And here's the brux of it. What does the Army think about me putting videos out? So the Army, on paper, the Army loves people using social media. They encourage it. Where people get hemmed up is, and that's like Army loves it. Army leaders don't know what to do about social media, and some people are extremely risk averse, and so they will discourage it. Some people will. But where people get hemmed up at is, like with anything, when you do something and you're in uniform, you are portraying, you are symbolizing the Army at large. You're symbolizing the nation, and that's why it is against regulatory guidance to do things like go to a political protest or rally in uniform, because when you do that, you're not going as you're going as a service member, and so that's strictly prohibited. But sharing, some different things. You can share your opinions. I'm on TikTok. I share opinions, and there's quite a few, even senior leaders on TikTok, sergeants major and colonels, and some other first sergeants who are out there that I know, who use it as a means and a tool to help spread, hopefully, some good nuggets for folks to pick up on. So have I been discouraged in the past? Yeah, absolutely. Because again, some people just don't know what to do or think about online presence. But in general, like, the Army really doesn't care. And when folks do look at my content, they love it. They love both channels and what I'm doing out here in the woods, as well as helping folks prepare for having a gooder future in the military. So everybody, man, I appreciate all you guys. Leave some more comments down here. We will continue to keep this conversation rolling. We'll try to do another Q&A maybe next month, or maybe we'll go live. We'll see how everything goes. But man, channel is doing great, and it's because of folks just like you out there contributing, watching, liking, subscribing, sharing, and that means a lot to this old crusty first sergeant. Y'all, you stay out there, you keep grinding, and stay stoked.